Every week, Michael and I highlight a list of games we want to play, enjoy, or spread the word about. Plus, everybody loves lists. So this week, we are going to be talking about a game or a group of games that I'm surprised we haven't discussed up to this point, which is pick up and deliver games. And I'm really excited about this list because it has a lot of games on it that we have not, or I have not talked about a lot, I don't think. So I'm anxious to see where your list goes. I don't have any caveats. It's a list. I could have gone to 10 if pushed on it.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have some great games. My prediction is one crossover, possibly for sure, and a second based on what you may have played.
Yeah, I'll say we're crossing over on at least two because we had this pretty restrictive list when you cut it down to 5. And even though we're on episode 213, I thought, well, we've done this before.
Yeah.
We both like pick up and deliver. We play a lot of pick up and deliver. We get demoed a lot of pick up and deliver, but no, this is our first. And I know we won't have crossover on this one because you haven't played it. This is a game, one of the first games that I really played solo and dug into. This is a game that I ended up trading away thinking that, well, I'll never play that again. And then I got it back in a trade later because it stuck with me. And that's Autobahn, released in 2022, designed by Fabio Lupiano and Nestor Mangoni, published by Alley Cat Games, and a game that I very much have thought about. I want to play this at a convention. I need to replay this again. But Autobahn is my most complex and heaviest game on the list. This is a hobby level game. It does take an hour and a half to 2 hours to play. It is that 14-year-old entry point where you are playing cards out of your hand and building the Autobahn over 3 different phases. And so, you know, the map of Germany and some of the surrounding nations starts to get unveiled as the game goes on, and that's going to open up other territories and more technologies for you as you're trying to pick up your goods and deliver them. Pick up and deliver is a core mechanic of a game that has many different mechanics in it, but the two are pick up, deliver, and hand management. And you really have to combine those two together in a game that I know the rating as I see it on BGG, it's like, should I even be talking about it? But I feel like there have been some good videos that have been put out, and this game has gotten distilled more over the last couple of years. So one that if you're at a convention or if it's in the game library at your local store, just open it up and see if you can handle it. One that I want to get back to the table and had a lot of fun playing solo and want to play with other humans eventually. My number 5, Autobahn.
Cool. All right. My number 5 is the lightest game on my list, and one that I wanted to kind of throw on there as one that I've gotten a great amount of enjoyment with my kids playing. And there's not a lot of kids games, I feel like, that add a pick up and deliver element. And this one is Ghost Fightin' Treasure Hunters. This came out in 2013 from Mattel and designer Brian Yu. But essentially, you have to go into the house. It's a cooperative game. You're going into the house as a group of kids, trying to get the gems out of the house, but there are ghosts that are filling up the rooms and can make it impossible to pass through certain rooms and that type of thing. So the basic structure of go in, grab the gem, bring it out of the house before being consumed by ghosts. So very simple, but my kids love it. I've played it with all 3 of my kids at the ages. You know, they fight over which character they get to be, and it's been a blast. Very simple game of just rolling a die, and that's how far you move. It's a roll and move game, but it is fun. So that is my number 5, Ghost Fightin' Treasure Hunters.
That's awesome, Doug. We should add that to our list. I haven't played that one yet. I'd like to check that out. Number 4 for me is where I believe we may have crossover. Episode 173, we talked about Dabbawala, and the Game Schooler podcast has been champions of Dabbawala.
Yeah.
Designed by Felix Ledger and Patricia Limburger, who's also the artist, published by Queen Games. Folks, I can't really do a ton of justice in a quick overview. Doug talked about a great insert in our Game of the Week with Archeo Society. Dabbawala also has a really solid production of how that insert's put together.
It's almost a storage solution as opposed to an insert, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the game takes place in Mumbai. and you are basically trying to deliver food. All right. And we tell an awesome story if you go back and listen to that segment about it. But the pickup phase, you're taking turns as you're moving your Dabbawala through Mumbai to collect Dabba cards. And then, there's also a delivery phase. So the two phases of the game, one is pickup, one is deliver.
Makes sense. All adds up.
It does. It's not in my collection simply because I only have so much space in my house, and I know it's in your collection, Doug.
Yeah.
But one that I do have on a list where if I ever didn't live close to Doug, I would want to pick up because I absolutely just love how those two phases come together. Number 4 for me, Dabbawala.
Great game. Not leaving my collection anytime soon. My number 4
wasn't insinuating that. Wasn't
no. That is a
it is a great game.
A vote of confidence from me.
Yeah,
that it's not leaving. My number 4 is a pirate game that I've talked about before, but it is Black Fleet. This came out in 2014 from Space Cowboys designer Sebastian Bleasdale. But this is a classic. Go to a port, pick up goods there, take them across the board to a different port to sell them to get money to then buy upgrades for your ship. It's very basic at its core. A lot of times when people think of pick up and deliver, it's a boat, or a car moving across. Like, this is a boat. You pick up goods from one area, load them on your little plastic ship, and move across the board. That's simple. There are merchant ships and pirate ships, so you can steal goods from other folks and things like that. But great little pirate game and really has that pick up and deliver down. That's my number 4, Black Fleet.
Awesome. My number 3 is another pirate game, and that's Pirates Cove, which we talked about in episode 167. You can go back and listen to it. We have been championing this game, and it's been on many high five lists. Word from the designer is that one of the designers, Daniel Stahl, this game could potentially be on Kickstarter at some point again, so be on the lookout for that. Can't confirm it, but I do have it on a pretty good source that could be on Kickstarter at some point. But in Pirates Cove, 3 to 5 players are pirates. You're running around the map. You're burying treasure. You're trying to make sure that you stay alive and make things happen. If you want to hear more about it, you can go back and listen in episode 167. We talked about it for probably 30 or 40 minutes because we both absolutely love this game, and it really is a gem that I hope more people get to play and explore and experience. Pirates Cove.
Awesome. On my short list, my number 3 is a game I think Michael would love if he played it. And this one came out in 2013. It is by famed designers Kiesling and Kramer. That is Coal Baron. This is currently being published by CNC Publishing. I think mine is from R&R Games. But in Coal Baron, you have a mine shaft, which is a dual layered board. It's probably one of the first games that I ever knew about that had a dual layer player board. And that is your mine cart that goes down the shaft to get coal at various levels of your mine shaft. And you spend action points, but you get those by worker placement. Everything is a worker placement. And so if I have 10 action points, to slide all the way down to the bottom of my mine shaft is 1 action point, but to load 1 coal on it, that's an action point. To move it up 1 spot, that's an action point. To load on another one, action point. Slide it all the way to the top, 1 action point. And then, action points to unload them into the various carts and buggies that you have that are collecting them. They have like 3 different modes of transportation, I think. One of like a horse and carriage and different things like that. But then what's unique about it is that when you go to deliver it, you go to basically the mode of transportation that you want to deliver. So if I have 2 or 3 contracts that are all horse and buggy and I go to that spot, I can deliver them all at once. So even though you may have completed a card, you may not fulfill it until you get maybe a couple more of those. And that moving that mine cart up and down the shaft to try and collect money is really tight in the game, is really cool. But that function of like you're buying the different mine carts that attach onto your mine that have the coal in them, and then you need to bring them to the surface, spread them out. So in a situation like Black Fleet, where you're talking about going over large bodies of water to collect things. This is like, it's in the ground. How do I get it out, and how do I sell it, basically? So that is my number 3, Coal Baron.
You still own it?
I still own that one. Yep.
Yeah, we should play that. That's one that I was on Kickstarter. I didn't back it because there's only so many things to back,
Yep.
right? And I thought, well, it'll get widely released in retail. And then when it just kind of got delivered to the people that backed it, I didn't really see it around anymore. That newest version. So yeah, that is definitely one I want to check out. And you're right, that I would probably be on my list, but I haven't played it. That sounds absolutely awesome.
It's right up your alley.
Yeah, it seems like it. Number 2 for me was a game of the week. 1 and 2 are both games of the week. This was all the way back in episode 17, and that's Forbidden Island, designed by Matt Leacock, published by Gamewright. It's in a beautiful tin. 2 to 4 players, 30 minutes, ages 10 plus. We've played younger in our house because it's cooperative. Right, so the island is sinking, and you've got these brave adventurers, and you've got to get them off of the island. And I wouldn't suggest that you go back and listen at episode 17. Maybe at some point we'll get a refreshed review out. But Forbidden Island is one that, why it's number 2 on my list. This is a game that we have played with couples who are quote unquote non-gamers, or other family members who may not own a ton of board games. We've played with our own children. I've played with Doug quite a bit early on in our podcast. So just playing it in multiple groups, and just wonderful little coasters that come out of that tin with some cool little chunky pieces as well. I think Matt Leacock did a great job with Forbidden Island. So that's 2010. And my number 2 pick up and deliver game.
Awesome. Yeah, you're trying to collect cards and deliver those cards to the idle spots in order to claim the idol before you can get off the island. So
thanks for cleaning that up, Doug.
Great choice there. My number 2 is Istanbul. This came out in 2014. It's published by Pegasus Spiel and designer Rudiger Dorn. And this is a game, the first person to get 5 gems wins. But the unique part about this is that you need to go around the board, collect different resources. There's several different ways to get gems, whether you're just paying for them outright or turning in resources, or a combination of different resources. But so there certainly is the idea of go to a location, collect the resources, deliver those to a different location, get a gem type of thing. But there's also this mechanism of, you have your worker stacked on top of, 4 or 5 apprentice worker discs. And then as you move to different locations on the board, there are little cards out, tiles. Wherever you end, you drop one off. And that's what allows you to take the action of that space. And then you move on from there and you drop another one off. And eventually you run out of those assistants. You need to either come back and clean them up and pick them back up again so you can keep taking turns. And so it's not only does it have the normal traditional pick up and deliver that you would expect, it also has the secondary level of picking up and delivering your assistants or apprentices throughout the board and reacquiring them and putting them out in different spots in order to take actions. So that is my number 2, Istanbul.
That's awesome. Yeah, my number 1 has gone up over time. It's been a game that we have talked about, and I think it's gone up over time because I can actually teach this to new groups of people. And even though the game keeps getting new themes and mechanics put on it, I love the original, and that's Horrified, 2019, designed by Prospero Hall. And now I see Peter Lee has a designer credit added as well. Art by Prospero Hall, published by Ravensburger. Just give me the 2019 version. There's something about it. You don't have this in your one spot?
That's my one. So, yeah.
Oh, great. I think, then I won't talk for 5 minutes about it, but go ahead, jump in.
Well, I just think it does a great job of being pick up and deliver in an approachable, cooperative game. In the idea of you're collecting various not only goods and weapons or the objects. You're collecting objects that appear on the board, and then using them to defeat monsters. And each monster in the game has a different condition for how you beat it. But not only that, you're also picking up people in distress and then kind of shepherding them back to their safe space in order to get extra bonuses throughout the game. So it's got both of those in a cooperative game in an approachable way that just works.
And I had an experience too where I thought that I liked this game more than most. And so I kind of, hid my enthusiasm for it. Yeah, I think I just really like this game more than most. And then I saw kids play it at Board Game Club. And I saw one of my kids kind of really have a ton of fun screaming at the table and hollering, with their theater group. Like, oh, there's magic in this game. So it's not just me, because I had a good time playing with my mother-in-law once, and we covered it on our podcast early in the show. Like, there's something about this game and the original game and the American Monsters that just really works for me, and I think it works for a lot of people.
The Universal Monsters, you mean?
Yeah. Good. Thanks for cleaning that up. The American Monsters once trash. The horrified the original.
Yeah, there's something to be said. They do keep releasing different versions. There's American Monsters and Mythic Monsters and a couple of other ones. I've played the American Monsters ones. I've read the rules on a couple of the other ones, and they just seem to add a level of complexity that seems unnecessary and kind of convoluted, where the original one is so well developed, which is why I always go back to that one.
And the monsters are great. Just mixing up a monster adds such a different vibe to the game.
Yep.
Yeah. This was a tough list, Doug. My 1, 2, and 3 when I started the list got bumped down to 6, 7, and 8. So I'm just going to briefly mention my three honorable mentions. Junk Orbit.
Yep. That was
designed by Daniel Solis.
Okay.
Yep. Awesome game that we haven't actually covered yet, have we?
No.
We've got to get that in the queue. Xia Legends of a Drift System. Played it just in the last few months with in our game group, and I had a blast with it. But I just played it the once, and it's a hobby level game that I didn't think I could actually talk about for a minute. But very, very cool game there if you can get your hands on it. It's kind of a tough one to get, but sprawling game. You're playing all over a universe, and you're trying to get to places to deliver, but you might not actually be able to. So the stress of delivering is what brings the fun about it. And then the one that started out at number 1 for me, but just kept moving, is Wormholes, designed by Peter McPherson, Alderock Entertainment Group. I've owned this game twice, but just haven't been able to get it to the table. So I keep trading it away to other people, hoping that they can get it played. But pretty cool little system there where you can, there are these wormholes that bring you out to different parts of the I'll call it a map, but as the map is unfolding. Not a very good description there, but a game that I've had a lot of fun playing as well.
The only other honorable mention I had is a game called Lords of Zidit, which is...
haven't played that one yet.
Is one where you're collecting different farmers and things to basically defeat monsters. What's really unique about that game, though, is the way that the end game scoring works, where there's 3 different tracks, and whoever's least behind, farthest behind on the track in the first one is eliminated from the game. Then you go to the second scoring one. Whoever's the least behind on that track is eliminated, and then you get down to the final one, and whoever is the highest wins that one. So you can be in like 3rd or 4th place in all of the other tracks as long as you're in first in the one that matters in the end, as long as you didn't get eliminated.
Interesting.
So I thought that was always kind of cool. So that is our high 5 pick up and deliver games. Let us know in the Discord or in the comments on the YouTube which games you like and which high 5 or which pick up and deliver games you'd put on the list.